it's such like a big responsibility because you're capturing the most important days of their lives. It's really nerve-wracking, but it's also so exciting, and that's why I haven't quit, because I've never felt like this was a job. This feels just something fun that I get to do every single day, and I'm so grateful for it because I see their reaction. I see, how happy I get when I, get to actually take their pictures and deliver a gallery, and it's very rewarding. The biggest mistake a small business can make is to think like a small business. If I'm setting myself up and I'm trying to be a business, not even just a small business, but a business, and I'm thinking small, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm just a small business, I don't really matter that much, then people are going to treat me like a small business. Belief, it's limiting. I feel like every single time I post, it has to be better than the last. Like, it doesn't matter what gear you have. I feel like you can do anything with a Sony A6000.
What you're doing is you're capturing people in God's likeness.
Thank you.
And that's a beautiful thing, and you shouldn't stop doing that.
I don't think I will. And I think even if it doesn't, go any further than this, and I'm just doing this for the rest of my life, and, God's called me to do this, I'll be okay with that. I've actually never said that out loud before.
Whoa.
Yeah, you guys are the first.
Guys, you heard it first at Kayden with Hit Record. You heard it first.
You heard it first, really.
Hey guys, this is Hit Record, and in this episode, we're going to be doing a creative spotlight with
Kayden Powell.
Awesome. So, Kayden, I've seen you around, and I think I really want to say thank you for taking the time to do this podcast episode with me. And I just wanted to let the audience know by having you introduce who you are, what you do, and what is your one mission in life as a creative.
So my name is Kayden. I run Captured by Kayden on Instagram. I've been doing photography for about 3.5, almost 4 years, which is crazy to say.
That's
crazy to say.
That is an achievement, actually.
Yeah, I don't know where to start. I like how I started photography. So I actually booked a senior session for myself from a girl that I went to high school with in Alabama, and she was a photographer, very small. She's now an actual editorial wedding photographer.
Holy shit.
She's great. She's amazing. It's a different style than when she took my photos, but it was amazing. And she told me about photography and how her husband pushed her to do it, pick up a camera, and I was really interested in that, but I never really did anything with it. I never really pursued it at all. And then one day, my parents got me a camera for Christmas because I had mentioned. That's the most basic thing. Your parents get you a camera for Christmas. You either do something with it or you don't. Okay. And I had done a few pictures for like an Instagram. So I had, before my Captured by Kayden, I had cute little moments, and I would take pictures of all my friends and things that I just thought were cute or like cool, and that's how it started. I got my first senior session. I don't even remember how much she paid for it. I think it was like $50 or something like that. And that is the rest is history, I guess.
And I would imagine, it's like when we do creative stuff, we see a lot of people getting paid for what they do, but it's like until that happens, so it's like, oh my God, I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. So how did it feel to get that $50? Like, did it help you? Oh my gosh, wait, I can make money off of this?
Yeah, it was life-changing. When I was in my college success class, I actually had been doing photography for a few months, and I was doing band photography for a band, like a local band. And I had been wanting to do it for a long time. Like, wait, I'm trying to think. I'm getting my timeline mixed up.
You're good. No worries. That's okay, guys. As creatives, our lives are pretty crazy, and our schedule completely non-existent. We're just going one shoot to another.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
And let's say in a general timeline, though, it sounds like you got your camera for Christmas, and then something about the $50, and then it led you to the band photography. What happened after that? So
once I did band photography, and I saw, how cool it was taking pictures of people, and not really having, a general idea of what I wanted to do. I feel like that was definitely a good start.
Okay.
I didn't get paid for it or anything. It was just something fun. And after that, I think that's when I got my first senior session. So I was doing that for a while, and then senior session after senior session, I was, doing it every once in a while. Every few months I'd get one shoot and probably make like $100. I kind of, with pricing, like I would kind of raise it just a little bit each time.
Ooh, we're already diving into pricing. I look at my questions here. She just went all the way to the last question.
Sorry.
Wow.
Well, no, I'm just trying to.
You're good. You're doing great.
But I'm just telling my process,
Right.
because I know that a lot of people kind of struggle with pricing and just, the general where to start. So yeah, I'd raise my prices a little bit each time, and I just kind of went day by day. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't know even what lifestyle portrait photography was. I've actually added documentary style to
wow.
my title.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think that kind of sets me apart a little bit. It's something that I kind of wanted, I don't know, to kind of be different rather than just saying, oh, I do portraits. Oh, I do senior portraits. Like, I want it to be like I'm the director of the movie type thing.
Unlike most of these photographers where it's like I would say it's a structured kind of a photo shoot, your approach to your own photography style is more of like documenting life as it unfolds in front of you.
Right.
That is very hard to do.
It is very hard to do.
Most people they think it's just like putting up a camera and just ta-da!
Yeah, so that's what I used to do. I used to just think of, 10 poses that I wanted to do in a session, and I wouldn't really direct them. I would just set them in each pose. And that, changing that up where I would put them in a pose and then work off of that one pose and direct them like it's a video rather than a photo, that's when my whole like photography style changed.
That is actually the posing models. I used to be a photographer myself. It's just I can't just tell. I can't. It's like I told him, all right, move your arms this
Words.
way.
It just like, never comes out.
I'm gonna manhandle you with your permission.
With consent.
Yes, guys, I do consent. Okay, all right. All right, now I can actually get to my questions, guys. Oh my goodness. All right, so number one. Choosing a career is one of the hardest choices that we can always make as an adult, especially when you're becoming 18. Life gets hard, guys. Each year gets harder. So we look for a career that provides stability and a chance at financial freedom, all the good stuff. And so the truth is, creative careers don't normally give guarantees of any of that at all. So, at least in the beginning. And well, here we are, guys. This is why I want to do an interview, because I think there's something interesting in why she chose photography. So, Kayden, walk us through why you chose photography above everything else. And I know we touched on that subject a little bit,
right?
But I just want to magnify that specific aspect in your life at the time in your life where you felt so confident in choosing photography over other careers that can give you the things that I just listed out.
Right. So I think I chose photography because it's different than video. I could have chosen video and probably been pretty good at it, but I think I chose photo over video because with photo and creating emotion through an image, I feel like is so much more powerful, because when you're creating a video, you can obviously capture that long form emotion, right? If you're, getting married and you're walking down the aisle, your husband is crying, like you can capture that. But when it's a photo and you can have somebody like feel that image without any movement at all, like through, like without a video, that is what really like puts me at like, oh my gosh, like this is what I want to do. Like when somebody's like, wow, I can really feel the emotion of that image, I'm like, yes. like yes, that's what I wanted. With photos, it's really hard to not make an image look posed. Like if you really want to pose somebody, like it's different. Like when you want to pose somebody and make it look not posed, it's very difficult because it's how you have them, So I think mastering that and making something look, I actually posted on my Instagram story today. the unposed versus posed polls.
Oh, by the way, you can find her at her Instagram handle and captured by Kayden. That's where
Right.
she's talking about stories, unpost and unpost, like what she said.
Right.
But go
So
on.
I had kind of getting off track here, but
It's okay.
I
All good.
posted those polls, and I wanted to see if people could really tell if I had posed these people or not.
Yeah.
And most of them didn't know if I had posed or not. Like each one of them, I think I had 2 girls that really like they got every single one right. But
wow.
everybody else, it was like I had posed them, and then they thought it was unposed, or if I had like not posed them, like a family or something, people thought it was posed. So it's like you really like, can you even really tell? I don't know, but I feel like if you pose somebody and people think it's unposed, I think that's like kind of like a pat on the back. You're like, nice, like that's cool. Like it looks like a candid almost.
I think it's like the equivalent of like watching a movie that's so good, especially the visual effects, and you can't even tell. That's when you really did a good job with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, going back, you said a lot of things that I want to touch on.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you don't, you always wanted to do, well, not necessarily wanted to do, but ever something about video, but you stuck with photo. Have you ever thought about the possibility as as your career goes on? Because if you look back on most creatives, they tend to start off with photography, but then somewhere along the way, it just diverts from photography and into videography. Do you see yourself doing that? Because you're really good at it. Guys, if you look at her content, it's like, dude, it's really good.
Thank you.
Like, you can almost get a sense of the fact that you actually know how to tell a story by having them creating motion and having them, it's like you're giving them a scenario. And so I think you have an eye for not just photography, but for potentially videography. So again, my question is, do you see yourself crossing into the other world as a videographer?
I do actually. I've thought about it for a long time. I've thought about it. Right now, no. I wouldn't say no. Right now, no. But eventually, yes. I feel like I do see myself making tiny little short films here and there because I love the cinematic storytelling of photo.
Yes.
And if I've mastered that now, I feel like I could potentially, create a cinematic story in a video form.
Guys, she's coming for all of us. We need
I'm
to
coming
band
for you,
together.
Kino.
We need to band together against her. She can't take over. But no, but jokes aside though, yeah, I actually agree with you because when I first met Kayden, she actually had a progression and growth in how she created her photos. And again, if you look through her social media and her portfolio, you can actually tell there's a strong sense of progression from where she started and to where she is now. It's like, I think at one point, what would actually push you to do video? Because I remember looking through your story, you had your brother, he was asking, or he was about to do a short film, and when I saw that, I was like, she's probably going to help him out a lot. And so is there one thing, and at some point in your life, what will be that one thing that will push you to do video?
I think my brother, when he decides, because he wants to be a filmmaker.
Okay.
And so I think once he decides to make his first actual short film, that's probably when I'll pick up video, is because I'll learn so much from doing that little project. I think I'll probably fall in love with it. I know I will. So I feel like I could definitely, it'll come. I just don't know when.
You just don't know when. I think we both can agree that happens for all of us. We know what we want, but I think it'll happen at the least unexpected time for you.
Absolutely.
So, wow. Guys.
I've actually never said that out loud before.
Whoa.
Yeah, you guys are the first.
Guys, you heard it first at Kino with Henrik Korn. You heard it first.
You heard it first. Really.
You heard it first. Again, guys.
Captured by Kayden Visuals. Or something. I don't know.
This is what I'm saying. We are coming up with great content like, this is the great part about Henrik Korns. I love getting sound bites like what you just said. So thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Sharing that. Holy shit! Wow. Okay, again, guys, let's start a hashtag. Stop Kayden at all costs. She's coming for all of our jobs because there's so much. There can only be tiny room for the best of us.
You actually have it good though. There's photography. There's so many more photographers I feel like than videographers. If I'm being honest, like anywhere. like in the world. Photography is so saturated right now.
No,
Like,
no shit.
like it stresses me out. I'm
No
like,
shit, man.
I can't. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, I suck. Like I need to get better. Like
Right.
I feel like every single time I post, it has to be better than the last. And that's a
Oh.
struggle. And then when it's not, and I don't perform as well, like with likes and
Yes.
comments and stuff, I really get down on myself. But then I've had to realize that, it's really not that serious. Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting the clients, I'm getting the work. The likes and comments should not matter. But it's the competition, I feel like, with a lot of different photographers. And like, I guess, I don't know. I don't feel the competition, but I feel like other people, there's a sense of competition
Well, I mean,
in this industry.
I mean, there is a healthy version of competition where you guys can just come together and be like, "Hey, you're a photographer. Hey, let's do this. Let's have fun. See who's better at this." There's that
Yeah.
sense of competition where it actually inspires you to do better for a good reason. Whereas, like what you went through, it's like, yeah, guys. Comparison to yourself to one another is a real thing. So how did you overcome that though? Because that's a hard thing to do, especially when you're on social media. Imagine going. I can just imagine just going to bed, just be like, I'm done. I love my work. Then you just go to bed, just scroll. It just becomes like an unhealthy cycle
Yep.
of comparing yourself. So how did you overcome that, or are you still working on it?
I feel like I'm in a healthy in between.
Okay.
I think there's always going to be a sense of competition or feeling like I have to compare myself.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I know that it's my work is my work, and I feel like I can't compare myself when there's people who have been doing this for 10 plus years and I've
Okay.
only been doing it for less than 4. So I really have to remind myself that I'm still at that like lower level, I guess you could say. But
Not really, not necessarily, but I'll expand on that in a bit.
it feels that way. Imposter syndrome is so real.
Mm,
And that's why I
yes.
was debating on coming here, because I was like, I don't
Really?
deserve to be on here. Like, imposter syndrome is so real. Like, I did not think that I was even qualified to talk about this stuff.
So the imposter syndrome, for those of you who don't know, when as a creative, it's like, how would you describe it? It's like,
Imposter syndrome, basically meaning that you don't believe that you're at where you're at. You don't believe it. It doesn't register in your brain like a celebrity. Basically,
Okay.
somebody comes up to you and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like you're so famous. I love you." And then you're like, "What? No." But you have like 50,000 followers on TikTok or something, and they're like, "I'm not famous. No, I'm not." But you are. You've blown up. Like I remember seeing someone on TikTok say that, and I was like, I kind of feel that way sometimes. Like, and I'm not saying that I'm like famous, but I'm saying that you get that feeling of, I don't feel like I deserve this opportunity. Like, it's not real, you know?
okay. With that being said, from your perspective, what is the right kind of validation that you would like to see more of in order for you to feel like you're doing the right thing? Because there's a different form of validation, but a lot of them are unhealthy. What's one that you could consider healthy for you to feel confident in your work?
I think when I get to work with other people and I can, be on the same level as them and not have an idea of ranking, because it doesn't matter like how long you've been doing it, how you do it, what your style is. I feel like if you just go and create with people that are like-minded as you, then, you're not really comparing, you're just collaborating. And I really like that. I really like to collaborate rather than, compare and, it'd be some competition.
Reminds me of the conversation we had at the coffee.
Yes.
We are not going to be naming names because, one, I don't want to get exposed or canceled. And two, it does remind me of that conversation because there's a certain type of people that you should be aware of who you're surrounding yourself with, because there are those that, okay, in this situation, it's like in this situation where you were in, it was like as if someone was belittling you based on appearance. You had this camera, which for some reason translated to you're not fit to be a photographer, that kind
Right.
of thing. So in that hypothetical and theoretical situation, it did not happen, or maybe that can't neither confirm
Well,
or deny.
I think it all comes down to, like, it doesn't matter what gear you have. I feel like if you have like a lot of gear and it's really expensive, good for you, right? But you can do anything with a Sony A6000. A tiny little A6000, 50 millimeter lens.
Yeah.
That's the only one you have.
Actually, quick question. What are you shooting with now?
Sony A7R3 with the 24-7.
Wait, the last time I heard you had like a A6400, but if I correct me if I'm wrong, was that passed down to Lily?
No, she actually bought her own. Shout out Lily. She actually bought.
Hey Lily, if you're watching this, I want to interview you next.
So she actually bought the A6000 and then a few weeks later bought the A7R3. It took me a year and a half to buy that. But I also used the money that I made with photography. So I think that she, just got tired of the A6000 and the low light and then just switched over, which I don't blame her. But with me taking my business seriously, I needed to use that money and upgrade the money that I've, made with my sessions. Yes, it is an investment. It is.
It is. That's guys. Business as a photographer, as a creative, it's a very expensive. You see all this? You know what I hear at night? My wallet crying.
It is crying. Yeah.
But wow. So looking through your portfolio, it's obvious that we actually went through this. Basically, I actually love your warm tones and your earthly tones, and your portfolio, and the way you have your models pose or unpose. But in this question that I'm reading on my computer, it definitely fits the area of work which is lifestyle portrait, and it seems like you have found your style. Now, for those that are aspiring to follow you in your footsteps, what was that process like for you to find your style, and how long did it take until you found one that you're happy with?
So just recently, actually, I completely changed my style.
Ooh.
I don't think you can tell in the past few weeks the editing style and, the kind of documentary style stuff that I've recently been doing. More of trying to make it look like a movie rather than just a photo shoot. So I think it really kind of changed. Well, it took me all of the time that I've been doing photography to figure it all out. I've watched countless movies trying to get that cinematic look of, what are they doing that looks good to me? And then what do I not like about that shot, or what do I love about that, or where are they on the train, if like they're the composition, I guess, of it all. I would study composition and the scenes and all this stuff. And I think that really helped with making my images look like either movie stills or something like that, cinematic storytelling, basically. And I don't know, if I had to give some advice, I guess, watch movies. If you want that documentary style, I guess, if you want to call it that, I would watch movies and I would study different compositions and grids, like where your subject is, editing style.
With the movies, what have you actually seen from the movies that you have watched that you started to incorporate your work? It's like, for example, Quentin Tarantino. He has it's really gory and violent. Actually, not really a perfect example for this, since she does lifestyle photography. A movie where, let's use a random movie, I can't pick up a name, but a movie where it has a lot of grain, and then there are some that are using hard lighting,
right?
And there are some that are using soft lighting. Can you name some of the characteristics that you've seen from every movies that you've watched that you started incorporating your style?
Absolutely. So I watched, what was it? I think I watched Little Women.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
What?
Wait, what's the title?
Little Women?
Yeah.
I watched Little Women, and the way that if you look at the way that the color grading is in the movie, I loved the colors. I loved their outfits.
I'm looking at Little Women because
yeah, pull it up.
I'm embarrassed not knowing. Please go on.
Pull it up.
No, I'm listening.
No, you're good. And I really like the way that they filmed it.
Oh, the 29?
Either one. I love both.
Oh, wow.
I'm Greta Gerwig.
Whoa, I'm sorry. I don't want to get copyright. La 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 la. Okay, I can already tell it looks good, but
It's so good.
okay, yeah, I can tell what it looks like, but yeah.
So with that movie, I felt like the contrast was I really took my my editing kind of style, I guess you could say, from movies similar to that.
Yeah.
Where, you know, they're kind of warm, they're filmed inside, they've got candlelight, so it's obviously going to be a little darker, and I feel like that really resonates with me. My eye really likes that. And so that's what I kind of remind myself when I'm editing, like, oh, like, let me do this really quick, or like, let me turn down, I don't even know, like, let me up the contrast or something. Like, I really do find that type of style and the grain in the movies. I love grain. I don't know what it is. People think, so I actually sent out this is actually really funny. I'm going off track.
Okay.
I sent out a senior gallery a few weeks ago, and it was beautiful.
Okay.
Like, I loved it. I added a bunch of black and white, a bunch of grain, and I got a message from the mom, and she was like, I paid you to do like really clear images. Like, is that like something that you chose to do? Like, put the grain, like, why is it so blurry? And I was like, well,
Whoa.
So I then explained to her that in the inquiry, her daughter actually asked for that. Like the super grainy, black and white, a lot of movement.
Okay.
So her mom was just confused, and her mom actually did love the photos. There was no like hate or anything.
It was just
I just thought it was funny because now I kind of have to add that in to my contract. Like, I have a certain style. It's in my contract, but I have to be more specific. Specifics is huge.
Especially in contracts, guys. You do not want to, when you edit this, make a bleep sound. You do not want to fuck with any clients when it comes to contracts, man.
Absolutely.
No, especially, it sounds like you do have, I would imagine in that contract, it sounds like it goes along the lines of, if you're going to work with me, just be aware that I do have a certain style, and you are, by signing this contract, you are aware that you are buying that specific kind of look.
Absolutely. And I have it also that, if you don't like my style, or if you don't like the edited images, there's like, your money is not going to go back to you. I'm sorry.
In other words, go fuck yourself.
No. Edit that out.
I will edit it out. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
But I have to be specific, because a lot of people don't really understand I would say it's untraditional. This type of style. It's not traditional. It's not the type of clear, bright images that you see for, senior sessions or couple sessions or weddings. That's just not.
It's funny you say that, because that specific style used to be common back in the days, but now it's coming back because, okay, you know what I find funny? We have the latest and greatest camera, but for some reason, it's like we get the sharpest image, and we're just like,
let me throw on so much grain.
Add grain. Let's destroy the image as much as possible and call that
destroy the image. It's perfecting the image. I'm just kidding.
We're given like 50.
No. I spent so much money. I have this camera too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So
You want to buy this?
No. It's my next purchase. No, I'm just kidding. But I spent so much money on my camera and my lens and all this stuff, and I add grain to almost every single image.
Wait, what?
I add grain to every single image.
It's okay, guys. I do the same thing with video. It just looks so
beautiful. It's so good. It feels like warm and fuzzy, and you're just like, it just makes the image, I feel like.
You don't like the clean? I'm curious.
Almost even if it's, I want it to look just a little bit like cleaner, I still add grain.
Does
just
it
a
feel
little.
It
does.
It feels naked.
It feels wrong.
Yeah.
It feels wrong.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so how long did it take for you to get to that style, or do you find yourself still developing that style?
Right now, I don't see myself changing my style. I really do like it right now. It took me about 4 years. All the time that I've been doing photography, I've changed my style probably 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
So I started out, super bright white images, and it kind of went to more warm and very orange kind of, and then it kind of got a little darker, but I still kept the brightness of it. And then I just changed it completely to more greens and blues and earthy tones.
Have you ever had to start off that you worried about, I don't know what that term is, like you're backing yourself in a corner to be the only one trick pony, in a sense, like you're only going to be known for this specific style or look? How does that process in your mind? Are you worried about that, or do you feel like that's going to be a style that you're proud of and that you're only going to get the clients that will appreciate that? Or are you also worried about the fact that you're only going to be known for this one style and you're still trying to branch out to the other, I don't know if that makes sense?
No, I understand. So I'm actually going through that right now, because I'll get emails and inquiries from people who want me to take their photos, but they don't want my editing style. So
what are y'all doing, man?
So,
did you look at our portfolio?
So listen, so they want the more professional studio lighting, beach, super white photos, without grain, keynote. So I just don't do that. So I just kind of politely decline, because I do want to do this style. So I really find it hard to decline, because of, obviously, like, photography is my main form of income right now. So I do want to do and provide service to everybody. I try to do that. But when it comes to kind of straying away from my style and what I'm comfortable with and what I want, I just don't really, I don't think it's necessary. I want to be known for my style. You wouldn't feel as passionate
to do it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you're doing is a great thing, because you're also, while you're making yourself as a service, you're making yourself available to everyone, but only to those that actually want your service. And that specific market, you can make a lot of, money, but not necessarily for those that, hey, Kayden, I want a wedding, no green, okay? No green. I'm not gonna give you a refund. But yeah, okay, wow, okay, cool. All right, so that's a lot of great answers, guys. I hope. Okay, guys, if you like this episode so far, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can always follow her at Capture. Actually, go ahead, do that.
You can follow me on Instagram at Captured by Kayden.
Today's sponsor is Sony. Sony, if you're watching this, please, I want to be sponsored.
You wish.
Huh? Wow.
You wish. I'm just kidding.
That sounds condescending.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, so there are a lot of photographers popping up every single day, and it's getting harder to be so unique. And because of the bar to get into this work is so low, and the cameras that we have now are so affordable to, and to get high quality work, while providing high quality. Okay, I just repeated that twice. What would you say that makes you stand out from everyone else?
So I think I'm just looking at what other people are doing, and I'm not copying. So I think there's a difference between, getting inspo and kind of imitating, but there's a fine like line between that and straight copying. So I feel like I find a lot of inspiration from other photographers, but I try and, not mimic at all. I try and keep it something that I want to do. So if, everybody's going to have a style, and everybody's going to kind of, it might look similar to others or whatever, but I feel like with my style, I tried to keep it as different as possible, but still getting inspo from my favorite photographers. It's just inevitable. Like you see something that you like and you really want to try it out. It took me forever to try and get my editing style the way it looks right now. It took me forever.
4 years to be exact.
Forever.
Well, 4 years, but actually right to forever.
It took forever.
Wow. Okay, so basically, what makes you stand out is that you try to find your own way to make your style that's not always like everyone else. And I think what the other answer that I want to see if you can give me is, what do you do as a business that makes you stand out from other creatives? Because as a business, we tend to forget that there's a business side to what we do, and we're just not strong. It's not our strongest suit. So what do you do as a business? What are some of the little touches that you do to make every customer happy with the service that you provide for them?
So I think the one thing that I really try and with my business is answering very quickly. I get an inquiry and I immediately answer them, almost probably same day or even just a few hours later, like almost immediately. And I think that really helps them grasp like how seriously I take this. I really want them to feel a sense of like I have an urgency to, provide service to people. With my following, I feel like I know you mentioned in the notes, like I do sneak peeks, and I also do, I keep up with my stories a lot. I try and post on my story a lot, throughout my day, or, doing little games or just keeping people entertained. I'm actually in school right now I'm getting my business degree. So I feel like that kind of gives me a little bit of
that's an edge.
A higher up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it really does help. Marketing, being my minor.
Minor?
So yeah, my major is business and my minor is marketing. So I'm right there. I'm right there getting both of those. And so I think I'm using that to my advantage.
That is a hell of an advantage.
I'm really enjoying it.
Hashtag stop Kayden. She's becoming guys.
Well, I'm just sharing what I'm doing so that I can help other people too.
It's not sharing. It's a threat.
It's not a threat,
No, seriously, that's okay. So that actually gives you an edge. Like, what have you learned from that degree in your class so far that actually has put you at least ahead of everyone else in terms of sales? What are some of the things that you can apply, or at least help share with us that can apply to our business that has worked out for? Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I have a tendency to have rambling sentence or run-on sentences like just now.
I know what you mean. So the first day I walked into class, my professor, he said, the biggest mistake a small business can make is to think like a small business.
Wait, what? The
biggest mistake a small business can make is to think like a small business.
Okay, walk me through that.
So if you think about it, if I'm setting myself up and I'm trying to be a business, not even just a small business, but a business, and I'm thinking small, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm just a small business, I don't really matter that much, then people are going to treat me like a small business. It's limiting. So once I started like not calling myself a small business and just started calling it my business and taking that like declaration, I guess you could say, over myself, I felt like it really did truly change my perspective on the whole kind of trajectory of what I'm doing. So with that, I've learned accounting. I've learned, I'm actually in accounting too right now, which is so hard. Don't even get me started. I'm learning so much about, sales, I guess you could say, and the like professional selling. Right. I'm in a professional selling class as well. So it really helps me kind of see the customer's point of view and how I can kind of turn things around to make sense for the customer rather than for it to make sense to me, because it obviously makes sense to me. Right. So I kind of have to be on the customer side of things and like the client side of things and kind of get in the brain and pick their brain a little bit, see what they want, see what they're looking for. And then I can kind of twist that and make it like, oh, let me show you this package, or let me show you this. Like I can kind of gear it towards them and make it more attractive to them in a way.
Ooh, guys, that's a lot of boatload answers, and I'd love to have questions. Okay, first question. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Answer. Give it to me.
That's okay. So, first question. What have you learned when it comes to making a sale? How did you ever? What was the one method that you learned to make sure that you're not coming across as like a salesman that's just trying to get the sale? Because most creatives, when we hear money, we're just like, we do everything we can just to get the sale. We forego anything what the client wants from our service, and we're just trying to get them to say yes just to get them money. So what have you learned? What method have you learned to make sure that you don't come across as someone that doesn't give a shit about the client,
right,
and only for the money? So
I think the first thing that comes to mind is when I email people back. My first email back to them never includes the price.
Okay.
I try and keep it. I've probably broken that rule a few times because they've asked in their previous email, what would be the price? Obviously I have to answer. But if they inquire with me and I get to answer them and kind of get to know them a little bit better, I never ever put in like, oh, it's going to be this much. Like I answer them. I'm like, hey, thanks for, booking with me. Blah, 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 blah. It's going to be this much.
Okay.
I never do that because then that just makes me seem like I'm in it for the money.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm not. The money just comes with it. So that's a plus, but I never want them to think that I'm just, in it for the money, and it's like a money grab. Never want them to think that. So I always try and, make it seem like the service is more important than the actual payment itself.
How do you balance with that and knowing that you're going to have to transition into becoming a serious business while maintaining like a steady flow of income without coming across as a sale? How do you balance that?
It doesn't take much. I feel like I can be a business. I can be, a successful business, lone wolf, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
Without coming across like it's just a money grab. I feel like it's not very hard for me. Sometimes I will do sessions for free. I have done a few sessions for free if I feel necessary, if I feel like the situation calls for it. I'm also in it for my ministry. I'm a Christian. I wanted to do this to kind of glorify the Lord in a way.
Yeah.
So if it does come up and I do want to do a session for free, I'll do it. That's just my ministry, but I have to remember that if it is my ministry, it also has to be my business. So that's kind of where I'm struggling with finding a good balance of this is my ministry, but this is also my business. This is how I make my income. So that is something that I struggle with. But
maybe that could be considered what's that term? It's like that, not a tax write-off, but more of like I'm sorry, God.
I feel like with this type of business, it's very subjective. You can do kind of whatever you want.
Okay.
In a way.
Yeah.
So you can make your own rules. You can kind of manipulate the situation however you want. Manipulate's kind of a strong word, but you can. I mean,
you have a sense of control.
Yeah, you do.
How you
can control it. You can, kind of take it over however you want. So as long as it works for you in your business, I feel like whatever works for you.
You are the one that calls the shot.
Right.
At the end of the day, you actually have to run the business, and
right.
no one can argue except the one who's running it, which is you. Walk us through your pricing, because pricing, the number is one of the scariest thing we could throw at a client. If it's $1 or $100 or $10 million, it is honestly, it's one of the most terrifying thing that we could always go through, especially getting the first client and then trying to figure out our sense of worth, our services. We're going to break this down, okay? So walk us through your pricing strategies when it comes to being a business while acting as a creative when you're providing your service. What's your pricing workflow?
So I think it's changed a little bit. I kind of have a base pay right now. So instead of, I have the base pay, and then I add on, if they want an extra hour, extra 30 minutes or whatever, then I'll add that on too as well. Okay. But I have the base pay right at $250. So any session that I do, no matter what, it won't go under $250. That's kind of my, I guess, requirement. And then if they want to add on, an hour, whatever, 2 hours, 2 hour session, whatever, like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I kind of keep it I don't have very many packages. I mean, I probably, if you want to consider them 3, I think I have 3.
It's like a 3-tiered package.
3-tier package, like a mini package, a full package, and a regular package. So like the mini would be like 20, 30 minutes depending. Yes. And then regular would probably be like 45 minutes, and then a full would probably be like an hour and a half to 2 hours depending. So I kind of keep it very simple. I don't want to make it very hard for people to, decide. Right. But I also want to keep it kind of far apart, so it's not like they're paying for either an hour and a half session or like a 2 hour session. Like you'd probably just either choose 1 hour or 2 hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like whatever works for you. I don't think, because when I started, I looked up, what's like the average photography, what's like the average for like amount that a photographer would make in an hour, and it's like when you first start, it's probably like $50 an hour or something like that. And then obviously, like I said, every session when I first started, I would bump it up, $50 or $75 or whatever it was. I just bump it up, because as long as I'm getting clients, they're willing to pay. I would just bump it up each time. And actually in January, I'm I'm doing a price increase, so I will be
Look at you
increasing my
go!
prices, which I haven't done in about a year. So
No, that's good. That's
so I
good.
think it's time. It's time that I do that. I think it's necessary for my business. But you know, it's a little scary because you
of
always
course.
wonder
It
if
always
people will
is.
still, you know, pay it. But I think it is necessary. And a lot of people don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about pricing. They don't want
True.
to talk about, you know, how much it's going to cost, and they're scared of it. But I'm not. I'm not scared to talk about it.
Again, guys, you heard it first from Hit and Record. We are going to be covering topics that no one is confident to talk about, and that is why Kayden is such a great guest here. She's willing to open the floodgates.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, with pricing, what was the first thought what was the biggest fear that you had to go through with pricing for your, you know, first few clients? How did you overcome that? Because it's like, I know I'm worth 500 or 800, whatever.
Right.
But it's like, for some reason, we want to get the sale, and so in order to get the sale, we feel as though we're the ones that were undermining ourselves in the process. Instead of feeling confident that you know that just because that you lost one doesn't mean there aren't going to be any more clients out there. How did you overcome that?
When I first started, I found it really hard to charge people. I didn't even want to. Like I didn't even feel like it was necessary to. I just did sessions for free. I didn't think that I needed to charge people because I just wanted to do sessions. And it would be like, I would negotiate, you know, $40 for like 1 hour sessions. Like, because all I wanted to do was take photos. I didn't care about the money. I just wanted to get my work out there and for people to see it. So I think for that, I would probably go back and not do that. Only because I feel like I was definitely worth more than $40 at that time when I was doing, you know, small little couple sessions around 30A and little creative sessions here and there. I think I was kind of, like you said, undermining myself.
Yes.
I didn't think that I was capable of charging that much and people would actually pay it. And then, you know, come to find out 4 years later, it's possible to be able to charge that much and people will pay it. It's just nerve-wracking. I still get butterflies when I like have to like say the price to people, or if people like book with me, like I still scream inside like no! I'm like no! Because I'm so scared. And it's such like a big responsibility because you're capturing the most important days of their lives, either like seniors or weddings. I've done a few weddings so far, and you know, it's really nerve-wracking, but it's also so exciting. And that's why I haven't quit, because I've never felt like this was a job. You wake up
every day happy.
I wake up every day. This feels just something fun that I get to do every single day. And
It's
I'm
always
so
something
grateful
to be grateful
for
because
it.
most people don't get that opportunity.
I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah.
And I kind of allowed myself to go through some rough patches of, I don't want to do this anymore. I hate this. Like, I'm not getting any clients. And I kind of let myself just kind of sulk a little and just be sad. Like, I'm not getting any clients. And then once I get another client, it's like, okay, this is why I do what I do. Because I see their reaction. I see, you know, how happy I get when I, you know, get to actually take their pictures and deliver a gallery. And it's very rewarding. So at the end of the day, I'm making money. Yes, it's great money, but I'm not doing it for the money. The money just comes with the job. And I call it a job because it is a job, because it is work, but I never want it to feel like a job. That's why I don't like to call my clients my clients. Like,
oh, what are they? Your
my friends.
Mm-hmm. That's cute.
Yeah, that's cute. So I think that gives it a sense of almost like your family, your friends.
Yes.
It's not like I take them seriously. Like, they are clients because they are real people that I am giving a service to. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I keep it professional. I'm never just like, hey girl, like with my seniors, I am a little bit more lenient with the way that I speak to them because they are 17 and 18 years old and they're so fun and I love them all.
Oh God.
Because I'm only 20 years old. So I feel like I'm not only 20. I am 20 years old. And I feel as if I can relate to them in a way because I used to be them. So I want to kind of give them the sense of like an older sister type vibe, you know? And I feel like a lot of the photographers that do senior portraits, they're, you know, older women, and it's more intimidating.
Oh, have you met Erin? Sorry, but have you met Erin Hansen by any chance?
She's taken a few of my prom pictures before.
Is that the exact kind of photographer that you're talking about when it comes to
Yeah. And I love that type of photography. I love the, you know, kind of the bright, you know, just more pose, but it's great. Like I love that in Bella Dadmore. Bellamore.
Yeah, Bellamore photo. Yeah, I know her. Yeah.
So I haven't worked with her, but I've worked with Erin Hansen before, and you know, she was great. I didn't really meet her like in depth.
In person?
I met her in person, but we didn't have a conversation. It was just kind of like, a big group of people for prom. So with that being said, I think I definitely have an advantage because I am younger, and I think the younger generation kind of likes that in a way. They feel like they can relate to me. I'm not going to be very intimidating.
Yes.
I want that like welcoming, like warm kindness vibe, I guess. And I don't know, I hype my clients up.
Not clients, friends. Yes.
For this sake, I call them clients because I don't want anybody to get confused. But for the sake of the video, like for this, yeah, they are clients, and I do hype them up. I get excited. I do what you do at video sessions.
Oh boy.
We don't want to talk about that, but
oh god.
I do similar to that, where it's just like I get so excited, I scream, I'm super excited. Like that's what I want to do all the time. Is just get that excited about
even when you're 60,
everything.
you're just like,
yeah,
let's go.
I'm like 6 years old, and I'm just like taking pictures of people. That's all I want.
It sounds like for the most jobs that you have to do, you have to put up this, not necessarily put up, but there's a personality that works so very well with the type of clientele that you're working with. And I think that's a great thing to have, because if you don't have that matching energy and the personality to match with the perfect client, your perfect client, without that, you're kind of screwed.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is exhausting sometimes. Like the days that I don't want, it's not that I don't want to do a session, but the days that I'm tired and I have a lot going on, it's just one more thing to have to, you know,
just put up.
Just put up with, but it's very rewarding at the end of the day. I never sit there and I'm like, ugh, I have a session today. Like,
I think
I've never said that.
I have a video job today.
I have to go take a picture and run around with a camera all day. Like, I've never said that.
One of the things that we have to keep in mind when we do stuff like this is that we have to protect our energy. And if we don't protect our energy, our clients are going to sense it. And when they sense it, they're going to, you know, it's like...
the vibe is completely off.
Yeah.
I've had sessions where something happens like right before and it completely just like changes my mood, but I have to turn that off. And it's still hard because then you're getting distracted. You're thinking about things. You can't think of poses. That's another thing. Like you're trying to think of directions and what to do and prompts to give them. And all you can think about is like the negative.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, it gets hard sometimes, but then you have to think about it. Like they've never shot with me before. This is the first time that they're ever meeting me. This is their first impression, and this is what they see. Yeah. This is a reflection of my business. So then I have to go in and completely I've never wanted it to come off fake at all, ever.
Yeah.
And I don't think it does, but I think there is a sense of like, I am a human. I am, you know, gonna have bad days. So I think that's definitely something to kind of, that I've had to work through, but it's, you know, it's not like super hard. It's just...
What are some of the habits that you take to make sure, because work, eventually at some point, it's like we forget to separate work from our own personal life. So what do you do to make sure that you're giving yourself enough healthy amount of time so that when you come back to work, you're just right back to where you are, happy, excited? What do you do to make sure that you find your way back to that, being that kind of person?
I think what makes it feel like work is the actual editing part. Like, I love it. The editing part's almost my favorite part, besides meeting people and making friends. So I think getting off of my computer for as long as I can is something that I have to do. I have to do it Because if I don't, then I feel like my eyeballs will literally like pop out of my head and they're just so dry and I just like can't look at a screen anymore. So that's something that I've had to, like, if I want just a day where I don't want to feel like working or anything, I just get off my computer and I just go outside.
Just take a walk.
Just take a walk, do something besides look at images. And sometimes it doesn't, like, the image that you are trying to edit doesn't look the way you want it to. You just have to take 5-10 minutes and just walk away from it. Then you come back and you're like, what was I thinking?
What the hell was I thinking?
What was I thinking? Or you'll edit an entire gallery in like one day and then you go back to it the next day and you're just like, who edited this? Like, who did that? That's why it takes so long for galleries to go out. Because
also, when you post your Instagram story, I noticed that you do have this pattern. Whoever you're taking photos of, you just like, hey guys, here's some sneak peek of this.
I love it.
Beautiful couple.
Right.
That's what you do.
So I do that.
I'm assuming between that post to while editing, you're tearing your hair out. Like,
yeah. So what I do. This is actually, it's very difficult for me to like talk about my process because it's not, I don't think it's the greatest. So I'll do a session.
Okay.
Let's just say I have a session on Friday.
Okay.
I'll just say that. And it's a couple and I'm super excited to edit.
Okay.
I'll go home either that day or the next day and I will edit the whole gallery all the way through one time. And then if I like it and I don't want to change anything, then I'll save it and then come back to it in a few days.
Okay.
But I will post like if I like those images and I don't think I'm going to change it, which is typically how it goes, then I'll send like 5 or 6 to the actual client. I think that's something that I've only ever changed the edit one time with a client.
Really?
I edited them, sent her the sneak peeks 2 days later, and then I hated it, and I went back and re-edited.
Wow.
And she loved the new edits too. And I've never done that.
Did she love the first one?
She did. She loved them, but
right.
I didn't. I ended up not liking them after looking at them. And I've only ever, in the last 3.5, 4 years, that's only happened one time. Ever.
Wow.
So yeah, I take it into consideration. Like, I don't want to send sneak peeks if I have any inkling of I'm going to change this later. So that's something that I do, but not a lot of people do that. I know some people who will do a full 1-hour session, send the gallery that night. I cannot do that.
Yikes.
I cannot do that. I used to do
Quality
it.
over quantity.
Absolutely. So with my process, I guess I would edit a few the night of or something, kind of look at them, make sure that they're okay. I get excited but also anxious. I'm like, okay, let me make sure that like that actually turned out, even though I know it did. And it's just that overthinking part of me.
Does it feel like just one more thing I gotta do? It just never ends.
Yeah, I guess, but it's also just been like a pattern that I've just kind of kept going. It's just something that I do now where I'll immediately get home, check the images, make sure that we're all good, and then the next day or the night of, like if I'm not tired or something, I'll go through and edit a few, send some sneak peeks, and then 3 or 4 days later, that's when I kind of finalize everything, send the gallery. I'm pretty quick with it. I feel like that's something that also sets me apart. If we want to go back to that question, a lot of photographers will send out like sneak peeks 2 weeks later. I'm busy. Like I have a lot of
wedding, but
no, yeah. Like my friend, she just got senior photos done. We actually met before she knew. Like we met, and then she found out I was a photographer. So then she would have asked me to do her senior photos, but she just got them done before we met. So she hasn't gotten her sneak peeks done. It's been 2.5 weeks.
What the hell?
Yeah. So that is something that's like the stereotype with photography is like sneak peeks and full gallery proofs are going to take forever. I don't want that for my clients at all. I don't want people to have to wait 8 months to get photos back.
Well, we are, as videographers, we are kind of justified to do that because, guys, we're
video is
editing a
different.
lot. Yeah.
Video is different. With photos, I have my editing style pretty much down. I know what will look good. I can see the edit while I'm taking the photos. I know exactly how I'm going to crop the image. I know exactly how it's going to look. So I really don't have to worry about that part. It's so much easier if you know exactly how you're going to edit your photo. And then you just do that exactly when you get home or whatever. When you get home, whatever. And then, you know, you just get that process down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get why it takes that long. Maybe because people are busy and they have lives and children and stuff like that. I don't have children. I don't have like other things.
Yeah.
So I can see why it takes that long. But for, you know.
Well, I mean, I would also add this bit where if you're a client and you if they really love your process so much that they're willing to wait, there's also that to consider. Because Kayden, I love your work. Just let us know when it's ready at a reasonable time. So I think the service that you provide, you see it as valuable, but I think the right client that sees your service will see it as an invaluable thing to have, especially when capturing their memory. And so when they know that it'll take a while, they know that it's going to come out right and looking perfect no matter what, I think they're going to be willing to wait. But then again, there are some clients that are like, hey, I paid you this much. Where's my photos?
No, yeah. You definitely get those people where it's like, oh, you know, we did our session 5 days ago. Like, where's the gallery? And it's like, sometimes it takes longer.
Yeah.
You know, I typically will try and send a gallery within a week and a half. That's my goal. A week and a half. I think a week and a half is the longest I've ever gone. Like I think I had 5 sessions in a row and I got all of them like out within a week and a half from their shoot date. So I feel like that's pretty reasonable considering how busy, how busy we can be. So then people, you know, will text me, you know, hey, where is it? Why haven't you sent it? And, you know, I do give follow-ups. I do send, that's another thing is following up with your people, following up with your clients, making sure that they're in the loop with your process. It gets harder when you have more clients to have to text every single day. I feel like that it's something that takes a lot of willpower. You're like, okay, I have to text this person, make sure that they're good, and then wait for the response. And then, you know, the process just keeps going. You know, you get more clients, you have to text them, make sure they're good, because it's like a customer service thing. I also am in a customer service class, so I have to learn customer service. Even though I've worked in the service industry for my whole life, there's still things that I don't know. There's still things that I'm constantly learning. So I feel like being in that class really helps me understand the customer, understand their kind of perspective, why they think the way that they think. And so I think that helped me really understand, okay, they want to be accounted for. They want to be reminded that I'm still working on their gallery, you know? So I feel like that definitely helps, is being
it's tiny
vocal.
touches that make them feel like, wow, I feel like I'm being seen and heard.
Absolutely.
So actually that's a great segue to how do you deal with bad clients?
I don't. I'm just kidding.
So you're telling me you're living in a Miss Perfect world of Kayden where you don't experience bad clients.
No, I'm trying to think.
You don't have to disclose, but
I won't.
Just talk about the experiences.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think I've never really had a bad client.
Epic way.
I'm trying to think, and I thought about this right before I came in.
All right, guys.
But that's because I put in the work to try and make this a positive experience for people. So when they don't have a positive experience, I send them testimonial things all the time, like explaining what could I do better? What did I do that you did like? What did I do that you didn't like? What's something that I can improve on to help others, you know? And I try and get that. And every single one, I'm not trying to be,
hey, you're all good.
But seriously, like, I feel like I really take pride in
what you do.
And I take pride in it. And I try and make this such a positive experience that no one could say anything bad. But, you know, there are people that have, you know, said, you know, I really didn't, it wasn't the experience. It was more of the edit. I had one client do a studio session with me, and I don't think that she liked the images, which was okay. I liked them, but she didn't, and that's okay. It wasn't, you know, butthurt about it or anything. It happens. But she never left a bad review. She never said anything negative.
Just left on a good time,
she just left it alone. She paid what she needed to, and that was it. That was all. And really, it wasn't even a bad experience. I've never really had anyone yell at me. I've never had anyone. I know it's gonna come. I know it will.
All right, guys. When that happens, we'll have her back on the episode. All right. It's gonna
Yeah.
be like an AA meeting.
Like therapy.
Okay, business can be so intimidating for everyone. Especially when you're dealing with when you're working like it's like Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know if I said their names. I'm sorry. You're dealing with being a business person and a creative. Where do you feel like you're the most weak at, and how would you improve on them when it comes to business?
I think probably answering emails. Like I answer pretty quickly, but as time goes on, you get so tired of answering them. No offense, but it just happens.
Wait, what kind? Is it cold emailing or
just like emailing people back? Like just getting back to the clients and at first you're getting so excited, you're getting all these clients and it's so fun. You want to answer them. And then after a while, it's not that you don't want to answer them. It's just it is so tedious. So I think that's the one thing that if you are a photographer or a business person and you want to improve your client experience, answering your emails as fast as possible, making sure that you're on top of your game in that way, that's something that I really had to learn, is making it, because if I go back and look at my testimonials, the one thing that everybody says is what I did best on is quick at answering back, or like quick at, getting back to me quickly or something like that. So that's why I saw those responses and I was like, oh, wow, like this is something that they want. It was
surprising.
It was very surprising. It wasn't even really, I think I got one. It was like, Kayden was great. The whole experience was great, but I really loved how quick she was with answering my emails. And I was like, people like that? It didn't even cross my mind. So that's why I say that it's so important to answer people back quickly. Life gets in the way, you forget, or you think that you answered them and you didn't. So that I think that's something that I would probably either improve on or continue to improve on, is just answering people back.
What would make it easier? Would it take, I don't know, like hiring someone to do that part or having AI to do it? What would you see in a short term for now will be the best solution to fix that problem for you?
So I actually did talk to a friend and I asked her, I was like, would you ever consider like being an assistant?
Oh my God. But she's building a team of Avengers.
But then I have to realize that I'm putting that type of confidence in someone else. And it's really hard when you've been a lone wolf for so long. You want to do it yourself. You want to do everything yourself and you don't want anybody to touch.
Oh, that's going to get really tiring.
Yeah.
What's stopping you from delegating to other people? Like essentially building a team. Do you see yourself doing that?
I see myself having someone almost like who works under me, who learns from me, but also is like an associate shooter. So if we actually work as a team, but I'm the main photographer. So I think I would probably be open to hiring somebody to work under me as an associate. So if I can't go to a shoot and, I have a shoot that day or something, they can go and we can double book that day. And then they take the photos for me, I edit them. And then I'm sending out, instead of one session, I'm sending out like 2 or 3. Like I'm just going out and kind of getting work done that way. I can see myself doing that. I don't know right now if I see myself having a team of 5 or 6 people, like kind of like hit and record. I don't know if I see myself doing that. I loved being a part of hit and record. I think for the season that I was in, I think that was great, and having a community is great. For my specific business though, I don't think so. I don't think I see myself as
like a lone wolf for now?
Yeah, for now. I think it might, my answer might change. I'm not opposed to it at all. There's nothing wrong with it for me.
I mean, who knows? Within 2 years, it can always change.
Sure.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I think the way that my business is flowing, the way that I am doing my work, I do like to do it on my own. I think it would take away from the fun aspect of it if I was having somebody else do it for me, or if I had somebody else kind of taking half of the workload. I feel like I wouldn't really feel like I was doing the work.
Are you worried about the style consistency may not always be the same way that you want your products at the end of the day to look like when you're working with different people? It's not always going to be consistent. Is that also one of the biggest things that's stopping you?
Maybe. If I went and I had someone working under me, I think I would definitely train them to know my mind and know how I shoot.
Okay.
I would want them to constantly be like kind of behind me, like studying the way that I do things, studying the way that I'm working, and then, you know, kind of taking their own creative liberties, but still following my guideline on what I would like, which I know sounds a little strict, but I feel like if somebody would want to learn from me specifically, it doesn't seem like that bad. You know, I would want somebody to learn from me and learn what I do if they want to, you know, either start their own business or, you know, just, you know, make some extra cash and be creative and learn. I feel like that's something that I would definitely be open to. Big team.
That's actually one of the topics that I was looking forward to hearing from you. Being a mentor. I think Lily was the first one that wanted to learn from you. Am I correct to assume that?
Yeah, I think it kind of. I did a few little sessions with her. She did one where she kind of took the reins on a session.
Oh, okay.
And she would follow me around, kind of learn how I did things. And at one point, you know, she then decided, you know, this is something that I want to do. I want to be creative. I want to do that. And she was actually going to be my associate. So that's the friend that I was talking about, where I was like asking her if she wanted to be my assistant and work under me. And I kind of put that off for a minute because I wanted to make sure that that was the right decision for my business.
Okay.
And, you know, hiring somebody on, that's a lot of responsibility. So I put it off, but it's not something that I'm not going to come back to. So then she then bought her camera, started doing her photography, and she's, you know, traveling, doing stuff like that. So I'm really happy for her. That's like, it's great. So I feel like that to me was kind of a snippet of mentoring, and I really did enjoy it. And I would love to have people, you know, follow me around. You know, it's not that I feel like a teacher in a sense, because it's definitely hard to feel that way. Like, oh, I can teach people.
Especially with imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. It doesn't feel like I even have the capabilities of mentoring, but I feel like if I've come this far and I have some knowledge that I want to show people, I don't see why not. And, you know, it's not like I've been doing it for 10 years, but I don't necessarily think that experience matters in that sense. I feel like it really just matters of like the quality of your work and, you know, how seriously you take it, I guess. And I don't know. I feel like I could definitely do something with mentoring. Even, you know, guides or something online where people can, you know, buy a posing guide or buy, you know, contract forms or like something like that, or even maybe eventually making my own presets where I can like create my own and then people would buy them. Something like that where I can, you know, help people in any way, shape or form, I guess.
You could actually just have like how you did the post and unpost, have your own little mini workshop event, and it's like the models walk away with the photos, but you're also having other people come on, maybe 3 or 2, teach them. Maybe that could be a possibility that you could offer. Yeah. Wow.
I've thought about it.
Guys, if you're looking for a mentor, captured by Kayden.
I would love to. It's something I definitely want to put up. Some type of photography event. I actually have a friend out. She just moved from Ohio to Tampa, I think. Tampa, or Miami. So yeah. So we've talked about doing a workshop where photographers come to us and we, you know, put together 3 or 4 little sessions here and there and kind of, you know, have florals or have something like that where we can do it. Kind of like Kiana Tate, how she did.
The retreat.
The retreat. I would love to do something like that. I feel like that could definitely be something in the future where we know we sell tickets for it and it's something like a big event where, you know, we could all board together and, you know, have dinner together, and it's just like a camp or something where, you know, we could just all come together and just be creative as one. Kiana's was so fun, and I feel like nobody really got, you know, catty, or like everybody was just working together, and it never really felt like.
When you went to that and having seen how it looks like, how it works, what was one thing that's missing from that, and what would you do to fill that specific void into your own retreat? Does that make sense?
I think yes, it does. I think for me, I would love to have more like one-on-one time with the client or whoever's being photographed and the photographer, they have like more time together, because when you have 5 or 6 different photographers trying to take pictures of the same thing, it is chaotic and it gets a little stressful, overwhelming. So I think that having, 5 minutes is nothing. Like you could get like 20 different things, like poses or prompts in 5 minutes, like even more than that if you're good, if you're
at
quick.
it. Yeah.
So I think that having 5 minutes, 10 minutes just like alone with the people and even if you wanted to ask questions like, hey, like how do you think that I should put them in, and I come over and I'm like, oh, I think you should do this, and is that okay? And then asking them, hey, is this okay if I move them here, rather than being like just doing it, telling them, like being very like strict about it.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of times when photographers or whoever kind of have their own idea of what they want, it's kind of like a ruthless, like I'm doing it this way, like nobody else can.
It's a dictatorship.
Almost, yeah. So I would not want that. Like I would want a very peaceful, like welcoming, like you do whatever you want, girl. Like just do it. We're all supporting you. We're all here to support you and whatever you're doing. So I think that's something that I would want to implement.
You want an open environment where people can feel open about what their week is at and be able to feel supported.
Yeah, and ask questions. Because I think a lot of the times when, you see people and they're like, oh, like what gear do you use? Like it makes you feel like, and then they have this giant, big camera. And I'm trying, like big camera. And then you're sitting there with a tiny point and shoot Sony A6000 and you're like, oh, no, it's just this is just what I have. Like, or when you go to an on-set like studio session and they're like, oh, like you can set up your gear over here, and you're like, what gear? And they're like, you didn't bring anything? Like, what kind of photographer are you? And I'm like, no one told me. Like,
that's not a great envernment.
No, it's not. So I think you have to really like that's the type of environment that I want to avoid if I ever put on something like that, where people are coming to have an experience, because it's still an experience in my reputation. So I think reputation is a big thing of how people can see you and how people see how you work and how you interact with clients. That's another thing. Like there's a difference between interacting with clients on like a personal, like individual level, and then we're doing it in front, like the same kind of, you're doing it in the same way in front of other people too. It's like, all right, come on. Like,
reputation, guys, it's just like one tiny bit of reputation can almost destroy your image.
Absolutely.
It just takes a bit of a mistake to destroy 4 years, 5 years. I can understand where you're coming from. It's like coming with imposter syndrome and having to not feel like you're being talked down.
Right.
It's a lot of things to balance.
Right.
And I gotta say, it's like, I commend you for making it this far. It's just like,
you just have to block out those types of people. You just have to block them out. If I'm being honest, because there's going to be people in the industry, because it is so saturated. You've got so many people that they have this idea, oh, I've been doing it for 15, 20 years. Like I know what I'm doing. And it's like, sure, you know what you're doing 15, 20 years ago, but times have changed. Old man, times have changed. Like, like, I'm being silly, but all jokes aside, I think if I'm gonna put on something like that, I would want to make sure that it's 100% a welcoming environment, and making sure that I'm able to teach, but also allowing other people just to be creative with whatever concept it is. I think that's, I would want to do mentoring if you want to be mentored.
Captured by Kayden.
Let me know.
Yeah, just let her know. DM her.
DMs are always open.
Taken care of.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a great answer. Okay.
Thank you.
As a content creator for them, and now you, as you mentioned earlier, you are now moving on to a manager position, managing, I think, Crestview and Niceville, while having someone else take care of the other locations and also organizing all of that stuff. What has that experience taught you? It's
taught me how to work in a team. It's just me and one other person, but it's still considered a team. And we also work with the actual boss of the place. So, he's in our meetings, he listens in, he's, there kind of monitoring, even though he doesn't necessarily need to. And he knows that because we have it pretty down of like every month we're getting out, 4 posts that we know are going to go out. And then we kind of work off of the creativeness and kind of the fun side of the business. We really want to make sure that I don't know, I've learned how to decipher what people want to see and what people don't like. Because, you work so hard on a video and then you post it and then, it doesn't do well at all.
Yeah.
But then when you do 5 or 6 different videos and they're all getting like thousands and thousands of likes and views, that's really rewarding. So you just have to, I'm making sure that I'm paying attention to, okay, what are people commenting? What do people want to see? And that's what I've really learned, is how to listen to the audience and what they want to know and what they want to, see on the social media. So it's kind of hard to, because you never know once you post it. Like, you won't know until it's posted if people are going to like it. But I think right now we are focusing on highlighting the business, but also highlighting the crew, because not a lot of people are doing that. Not a lot of people are.
They focus on the brand, but not the people that make the brand good.
With this type of environment and this type of business, it's very welcoming because you have so many people. They're some are Hawaiian, some are Samoan. It's different, I don't know if I'm saying this right, like different islands and stuff like that. So you've got like the aloha spirit. Okay. And that's a big thing with the Hawaiian culture. So making sure that I keep that, I guess, at the center of what they're wanting, and listening to their culture, listening to what they're looking for, listening to, how they speak about their culture. It's really important because you're trying to understand to their level of
basically learning how to take care of a brand's image while taking into account for what engagement.
I'm really trying to remember. I'm really trying.
We can move on. So
hold on. Let me just like wrap that little part up.
Okay.
So with Pounders,
yes,
and working on their social media team, I find it that I have to completely understand their mission statement and what they want for their business and what they want shown. I think when I approached them, I didn't want them to think that I was coming to create big billboards for them or create big like product craziness, like all this stuff. I wanted to make simple content for them that was fun and creative, that highlighted the business, highlighted the food, and highlighted the crew. Because the aloha spirit and like family, like the ohana, is very important. So I feel like once I kind of grasped their mission and what they wanted, creating content with them was so easy after that. I feel like once I created that personal relationship, I worked for them for 2 years. So like once I created that personal relationship with them and I really understood what they were going for, creating the content after was so easy because I know exactly what they're looking for.
And they trust you.
And they trust me.
Yeah.
So I think that when creating ideas like that, you kind of have to go back to their mission statement and what they want. And I constantly have to remind myself, okay, so this is what they're looking for. I know exactly, the kind of ideas that I want. How can I put that out there and want people to watch it? How can I get people to engage and like the video, comment on the video? And we actually get a lot of engagement for the Facebook. The Instagram is more like geared towards young people who just like the content. They, just double tap it and they kind of move on. But that's okay. Because you have to.
You're covering the base. Mm-hmm. You have a general overview of everyone,
Absolutely.
So that's a great thing for a business.
Yeah. So I really, really enjoy doing it. I really do, and it's very fun. Working with Trace, he's very outgoing, which helps because sometimes I'm not as outgoing. So I think that it helps when you have somebody who's the manager who deals with the business side of stuff, and then you have somebody under you that's kind of more of like, oh, I have this really great idea. And I think that's what I'm looking for when I think of an associate, is somebody that can, have that creative side, but also take it seriously. Like, this is my job type thing. So that's what I love about him and working with him is he's great at that. He also knows, he works for Pounders too. So, he knows the aloha spirit and what they're looking for and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very fun. It's different. I've learned a lot.
Guys, if you're looking for if you're looking for a job with Kayden, remember what she said. She's looking for someone who's creative and outgoing. I think those are some of the criteria. Still easy. DM her, and she'll probably consider you as an associate.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your time with Pounders.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how has it been like since we had that conversation? Walk us through your process, getting more confident into where you are now.
Getting more confident, I feel like, comes with doing more sessions because I didn't feel confident back then because I wasn't practicing, I wasn't doing the actual work itself. So I think the confidence came with just getting the clients, but actually getting the clients really kind of didn't come easy at all. I was really struggling. Like, you kind of quit video for a while, if I'm not mistaken. So I think I was on the verge of I was completely done. Like, I did not want to do it anymore because no one was booking with me. I didn't think it was just a hobby. It felt like a hobby. It didn't feel like I was, taking it seriously. And I think the one thing that really kind of changed the game for me was experimenting with different things. Doing sessions for free even though you don't want to, or putting yourself out there, posting when you don't even when you don't have content to post, just make little reels and just try and get something out there. Because even when back then I kind of deleted them all, but it was more of like little reels that I would make just for randomness, just to get content out there. And that kind of helped me create a presence on social media. And I think the one thing that I keep going back to is doing sessions for free. No matter how many times you don't want to do it, you're just building your portfolio. Because once you have a good, solid portfolio, then people will start booking with you.
Yeah.
I don't really know when it kind of took off. It was just a few months ago when, it was almost every day I was getting a booking. I was getting an inquiry. Yeah, it was crazy. Every single day it was either one or two. And then, November is completely booked. I overbooked myself for November.
Shit.
So
proud of you.
Thanks. But it took so long to get here, and it just happened. I was consistent with posting on my stories, posting and getting people engaged. I don't know, just practicing my editing was a big thing, because I felt like, watching movies, like I said, and, having this idea of I want to make my images look like a movie, or they were taken from a movie. That was something that I really wanted to do, but I didn't know where to start. So I was I was looking at other people's work, and I was like, what do I like about that? And how can I implement that into my work without straight copying?
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing. Studying other people's work. That's, like I just said, studying it. You'll want to cry. It will be the most tedious. You'll literally want to cry every single day, because you're like, why can't my work look like theirs? Or why can't I do that? Or why can't I do this? And it's just because you're not practicing, and practice comes with the confidence of doing it. So I think that was one of my biggest things, is just having the confidence to put myself out there and message people. I actually got on to the Alex Hormozy.
Alex Hormozy.
Are you going to
talk about the 100 million leads? Yeah,
so I got on his live whatever a few months ago. And
it actually works.
So I didn't read any of the books, but I did take away some of the stuff, some of the information. So he talked about, I can't remember what it's called, but he talked about when DMing people, don't just say hey, I want you to work for me. Say hey, I loved your last post and I loved this, and this about it.
Okay.
Would you consider, working with me for a discounted price or something? And it's you're complimenting them, you're making it attractive, all this stuff. So I learned that, and once I started doing that and implementing that, because you did that to me.
Huh?
Even if you didn't think that you did. Whenever you messaged me and you were like,
oh God,
hey,
I'm about to expose. Yeah, I'm actually curious. What?
Because I noticed it. I noticed it when you messaged me.
Wait, for this episode?
Mm-hmm. You
Jesus Christ,
complimented
I'm a
me.
manipulator, guys.
No, you said no. Listen, this is how to get people to say yes to you because I said yes to you.
I didn't even read. I didn't
So you
even
said,
read-
"Hey, Kayden, it's Kino. I hope you've been doing well. I love the new photos that you just posted, especially the model being backlit by the sun." You immediately complimented me, like in
It
my
was
work.
genuine,
I
'cause
know it was, but I know it was genuine. But that's how you get people to say yes because immediately you're not even like, "Hey, Kayden, I'm wondering if you want to do a podcast with me." Blah 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 blah. Like you went in and like personalized the message for me.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing, like consciously to other people though. So like I went in, I'll actually read my latest DM to someone and she said yes. So I said, "Girl, I just found your page and you and your boyfriend are so cute. I was wondering if you would be interested in a couple session for exposure and tagging me if you post. Would love to do a session with you guys. Let me know if you're interested."
Okay.
And she said, "Oh, you're so sweet. That would be amazing. Our 4th year is actually coming up and that would be perfect. Where are you located?"
And it just led to a business opportunity.
We booked it. Like it's done. Like it was so quick. I saw her Instagram. I thought they were so cute and I just immediately like went in for, the compliment. But I'm not doing it because like I'm trying to be fake. It's obviously a genuine message. But when you personalize the message, when you are genuine about, complimenting people, people will say yes to you. And you did that to me without knowing, which was actually why I said yes, because I was like, oh, wow, like, this is cool. Like, I would want to do this. Mind blown.
No, it's because like when I think of sales, it's just like I think of someone that's like trying to get something from you, but for because I genuinely, when I saw the progress in me, I was like, good job. So
that's why when I think of like business and I
Yeah.
think of, professional selling, you think of this is a business deal. This is something
Yeah.
that's like super professional. I started out the message with girl in all capitalization, like all caps.
yeah.
It's like I can personalize my messages to, kind of make them more like readable for people to like be more
Makes you
attracted
look human.
to them. Yeah, it makes me look human, and rather than just
Hey,
like
showing me.
AI generated messages like, "Hello, my name is Kayden. I am a 30A photographer, and I would love to do a session with you." Like everybody's just gonna scroll past that.
Evoking certain emotions in the other person, making genuine interaction with that person that make them feel like, okay, maybe this could be more than something.
Yeah.
I did that to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that more now.
Yeah, it works. It really works. I've never had it fail.
So you're saying if I go to American Eagle, be like, oh my god, I love what you did with the store. Can I get a 50% discount?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, sometimes if you ask people for discounts, they'll give it to you. If you just ask. Have you ever gotten a local discount here? Have you ever asked?
I don't really shop.
I
around
ask
here.
all the time. Like at
Really?
restaurants and stuff, they always give it to me. Local discount. It's like 10% off. Like if you just ask and prove that you live
Well,
here.
how would you do? You like what you said? You follow them. Hey, I love your coffee. Can I get 10% off of this cup?
No, like I'll just say straight up like, "Hey, do you guys do local discount? Like I live here in Florida, just wondering." And they're like
Okay.
either like, "No, sorry," or like, "Yeah, actually we do." Cool.
When you
Having
said
the confidence to ask. You just have to ask people.
Whoa, that was
The worst thing that they can do is say no. That's like the best piece of advice that
you learned.
I
from
learned
that.
from, messaging people is just like, don't just be a robot. Like, even if they say no, ask them why. Or like, "Hey, can you give me recommendations for like, if you have somebody that you like or somebody that you love, just give me have them recommend you." And they're like, "No, nobody comes to mind." And then I think Alex said, ask them if they have anybody that they hate. It's like, "Hey, is there anybody that you hate?" Like, it kind of gives them like a sense of like, it's a joke, but you're
Yes.
being serious. Like, give me names, please. Give me.
So in short, if you guys are looking for someone to collaborate, basically just be genuine, compliment them, and then follow that up with what you want from them.
Right.
It's called manipulation.
That's not. It's not even. You're not even. There's no. I
kidding.
know, but I'm just saying. Like, some people think there's like hidden costs and all this stuff. You're really just trying to sell your service without being fake.
Okay.
And I think that's the one thing that you have to remember is you're selling your service. You're a business, but if you think about it, try not to think about it too much, because then people will see right through you.
It's easy to do that. Yeah. You can try so hard, and it's just like, well, I know what you're doing, buddy.
Yeah.
You ain't
You can
getting
reach
nothing.
out to like 100 to 200 wedding venues, and you'll probably only get like 2 responses back. I'm not speaking from experience or anything, but even if you get two responses back, like that's still 2 people that, you know,
But it could be better.
could use your service.
It can be better than just
Yeah.
2. You can get 200.
Yeah, you could get 200.
Yeah.
It just takes time. And I think that's one thing that I feel like I've had to learn patience in this industry, because I'm not very patient. When I respond to people, I respond so quickly. Even on Snapchat,
you're
like
expecting the same
I
thing
will
for
answer
you.
somebody so quick, but I feel like I am expecting that from other people, and I can't. And you can't do that. You just can't expect super quick responses, which is fine. But following up, being persistent and consistent.
I think you should always take the higher road, just like what Obi-Wan Kenobi did. Never take the dark side.
I was a Harry Potter girl, not a Star Wars girl.
I don't even like Star Wars.
What? You just referenced Star Wars.
I know, but I
Did you watch all of them?
No.
Oh my gosh.
The last 3 were horrible.
At least I watched all of them.
What's next for Kayden Powell within the next 3 to 5 years?
I hope to do more weddings. I think weddings are my next big thing.
Okay.
I want to do more of them. I want to get the experience. I think I don't want to be a wedding photographer necessarily. Like,
What?
I don't want to only do weddings.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like, I don't want to be specifically like that's my niche. Like, I want to do, you know, seniors, couples, weddings, you know, brands.
Yeah.
I also really want to get into branding.
Okay.
Doing other people's photos for their business,
Okay.
specifically photographers. So I, you know, take their pictures and they, you know, have it on their little computer, they're editing or whatever. So I really want to get into that. But yeah, I think the next 3 to 5 years, I'm hoping to my photography be my like actual main form of income, because I obviously have Pounder social media.
Yeah.
That's another form of income for me. But I think I want to rely on that specifically, and then, you know, grow my following. I feel like I'm almost at 1,000 followers, which has taken me 4 years.
Follow her
Please,
at Capture by Kayden.
I'm at like 900.
894. It's 894.
No, it's not. It's at 914. I'm growing, guys. It's growing. I go and I.
Wait, what was the lowest number that you started out with before with Captured by Kayden, that brand? What was the starting number?
Oh gosh, it was like 200 or something.
That's a big growth.
Like 200 maybe. Like when I first started, when I rebranded,
Yeah.
and I was Captured by Kayden, I think I was at like 190 to 200. I think that was like where I was at. So from that point to now, I think that was like 2022.
Dude, to 1 year? It's 2023 now.
Yeah, I think it was like a year, and it's been a year and a half since I rebranded. Maybe 2 years since I rebranded.
That's a good growth. Because it's really hard. Like you said, this career is saturated. It's hard to make a name out of
without
yourself.
buying your followers.
Oh,
Without buying your followers and doing it organically.
that's hard.
It's difficult, and you're just going in and you're stalking people's followers, and you're following every single person. I swear, that's it. I was just at 800, like 800, whatever it was that you just said. I was at that literally 3 days ago, and
wow.
I've gotten, well, it was at like 850 the other day.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I just want to get 1,000 followers. That's like a goal, like a small little goal. And so I was like, I'm just going to go and follow people. I'm at like 914 now.
Yeah.
So just a few days ago, I had like 114 followers. So that's crazy. But, you know, I boost my photos, the ones that I really like. I boost those. So I pay, you know, like $30 for every like.
Oh yeah, the sponsor.
7 days
I see them.
sponsor.
I see them all everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit,
I
it
pay for
works.
those. It does work. It's crazy. I love doing that, because then I can just like, you know, I can see the growth. I can see people who are around the area. It's very fun. I like it, but it takes a long time to get.
But then
to
again,
get
you're
the
taking a
followers.
marketing class, so I would imagine it's helping out a little bit to
Yeah,
get
absolutely.
that money's worth. But so, what else is next for you?
The mentoring.
Are you looking to get out of this place?
At the moment, no.
Really?
I
There's LA, New York, and there's places where, but then again, that depends on the kind of work that you want to do. Like New York is fashion,
yeah.
but for you, do you imagine seeing yourself leaving and then going to a state where that's your base of operations, and then eventually building up headquarters in multiple other states? What does that look like for you?
In the big picture, that could be fun. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I've thought about, reaching out to eventually working for like Cosmopolitan magazine or something cool like that. I follow all of the like editors and stuff. Like I follow their work.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be interesting to see, but I'd love to be published in like Vogue or something cool, or The Wed. Have you seen that?
The what?
The Wed. Like if I were to be a wedding photographer, my friend, my senior.
Wait, what is it called?
The Wed on Instagram.
Oh, Instagram.
Yeah. They shout out different photographers. So the girl that did
the world, it's also international.
So the senior photographer who did my senior photos, she's published on The Wed.
What? Mm-hmm. Hey, that's a good connection right there.
Yeah, so we actually talk like a good amount, and she's put on a few workshops, and I tried to go. My schedule just didn't work out, but I'd love to work with her again. Her stuff it's
on The Wed.
Incredible. It makes me jealous. Look.
Oh, whoa.
It's insane.
This is definitely a lot of this feels like they should be on a magazine cover.
She's incredible. Yeah.
No, my favorite.
So she sorry, I'm just gonna so she did that on her own, and then that became like inspiration for other photographers.
Okay.
And that was something that I wanted to get into, kind of because I talked about the whole like copying, mimicking thing.
Mm-hmm.
So she did this. She put the ring inside the cake.
What?
Look, the ring is in the cake.
Okay, I didn't even know.
So it's very different. The bride's ring is stuck in the cake slice. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. She also put the shoes on the chandelier. It's very cool. It's the coolest thing ever.
It's not something you would think of.
No. And so then when she did this, so as far as I'm concerned, she created that in her brain.
She was the originator of all.
So then
that's why I've seen your photos where it's like an off. Like I've seen some photos of yours where it's like a picture of, but their face are cut off. But it's like there's something about it that's so aesthetic and it feels more real. So
yeah,
it's
I feel like nobody cuts off people's faces. Like you either have to have your entire face or it's not the image, and it takes like sometimes you don't even need the face of the person to make the image.
Conforming to the professional state of what they think is. I think it's exploring outside of the box, like what she did. I love.
So look, she was published in The Wed. That's like her little cover.
Oh wow.
So amazing. Shout out Katie, I love you.
This one that one I love so much.
So good.
That's symmetry.
I got inspo the checkered through. So she also did another one where it was like through a window, like the details through a window. Yeah. And I took inspo when I second shot for Mia Grace photography. We put the details on the floor through a window, and it's like one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken. I'm gonna find that.
Oh, that's yours?
So I helped.
Whoa.
So like I got to take those for Mia. I second shot for her.
Yo, I'm sorry, but I love the hard shadow, the hard lighting.
Mm-hmm. I loved it.
No, that one is my favorite.
So cool. Which one? This one? Or this
one?
No,
that one.
So cool, right? This is the type of stuff I want to do.
No. The most important question is this: is there grain? No, there's not.
Wait, it's not loaded. Wait, it's not loaded.
There's no grain.
Hold on, it's not loaded. Yeah, there is. You can see it just a little. What? So with these, like, I didn't want
She could
a lot.
see it,
like,
but she's tried.
I love it. It's so good.
There's no grain.
Kino, yes, there was. It's just a little.
A little?
Just a little.
It's called non-existent.
No, there is a little.
Let me see.
Look, you can see it in there. I don't add too much.
I'm joking. I know there's great. I'm joking. Oh my God.
This was actually an accident, and this was one of my favorite ones that I
No,
took.
seriously. Oh, that's like I'm assuming that's a lower shutter.
Yeah, it
And
was
you
an
just move the
accident.
camera.
Yep.
You know, that specific style of photography is starting to get like a traction. I'm like, at first I was like, the fuck are y'all doing?
I feel like that was a
Do
lot
you
of
know
people's.
what shutter?
I saw it. So my immediate reaction when I saw the blurry photos, I was like, whoa, like people want to see that? Like I want to do that. Like that was my immediate reaction when I saw blurry, like radial blur images. I was like, that's cool. Like I want to do that.
When I saw it, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? You call yourself a wedding photographer? What are you at? One fifth of a shot? You do know how cameras
So-
work. It was just.
So my trick is I never want to have to move my settings like very quickly.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm getting them all perfect.
Yeah.
I edit in Photoshop and blur them all in Photoshop. I don't ever touch my settings and
Yeah.
move my shutter and anything. I always edit my blurry photos in Photoshop or try to.
I just always thought the reason why you cut off the wedding's face is because you don't like that person, but
No.
I learned now. But
No.
anyways, anything else you want to see in your next 3 to 5 years? Was there anything else you want to bring up?
I don't know. I think
We'll see you in 3 years, Kayden. Right
let's
here.
see. Yeah, let's see where I'm at. I definitely want like way more followers. I
Yeah.
want to reach more people. I want to stick to my editing style.
Okay.
I want to see if I do stick to it because, I don't see it changing very much. I really do like the way I edit. So
I'm sorry, I just thought
what?
your editing style after seeing the photography, you're gonna start just shooting up the sky. The bride and they're not in the picture anymore.
Huh?
You know the style of photography where I think the next trend is gonna be so blurry you can't even see the.
I saw this one. I saw this one wedding photographer. Oh, bless her heart. It was the worst blurry photo I've ever seen. And
That's what I'm saying. What are you?
I know, but like you have to do it correctly. Like I'm sorry, I don't want to hate on anybody's work. Like that's not what I'm trying to do here. But it was very interesting.
Okay, but how is that any different to?
So you're not a fan of the blurriness at all?
No, I am. It's just why.
So it's different. It almost makes it look like the picture's moving. It's cool. I think it's different.
Style is subjective.
Yeah,
There we go.
absolutely.
That's all. I don't want to shit on anybody. but
That's
I
in
think,
my contract. My style is like my style. It's my art. Like don't, I always try and, make sure that the client, gets what they want.
Yes.
But I'm never gonna just not do something if I
Design
like
yours.
because it's my work.
Art is
my art.
subjective. Can I remember that? Don't shit on them.
Yeah.
Somebody else might like the blurry photo. It's okay.
Yeah. Like
Well,
I
those
did
are-
this one.
God.
Look, no, I'm just gonna show you really
Oh
quick.
God.
I'm just gonna show you.
I'm
It'll
gonna
take me
blur
2
my-
seconds.
I'm gonna blur my eyes out after this.
No. Oh yeah, you're gonna hate this.
Oh great.
The radial blur.
Is that in Photoshop? Did
Yeah.
you just turn up the radio blur?
So I love it, but
Mm-hmm.
but it's cool to me, and I know a lot
That's all
of.
that matters. Don't.
So I did see one person do it, and I
Yes.
thought that they did it with their settings, and they might have.
Yeah.
But I could not figure it out, so I just went into Photoshop, and I was just like,
Do
know
you
what?
think it was in camera? Meaning they did it physically with the camera in order to.
Maybe I don't know. It turned out perfectly, just like that. So I think it was probably
There's one
Photoshop.
tricky- But anyways, we'll leave that in the other episode.
cool.
But we're trying to get you out of here though. After that blur photos, I definitely want to get you out of here now. But I'm kidding. What else? That's it.
Just to recap, the
Yes.
mentor thing,
Mentoring.
mentoring,
Exploring different
Weddings.
styles. Weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just working with other people, being creative, just trying to be as authentic as I can, because I know that authenticity is important in this industry, and I feel like if you stick to yourself and stick to what you believe. I used to like my mom, like she kind of didn't really understand my editing style. Like
Really?
when I changed it to
Okay.
the documentary style stuff, she loved the way that I was shooting, but the editing, the more greens and blues and stuff like that, she didn't really understand.
Was she a photographer by any chance? Or
So she did do photography, but it
Okay.
wasn't like she did it in high school. Like it wasn't like anything, like she was going to do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Okay.
So when I was showing her, she was like, it's really green. Like it's like, it's really like, it's different. You know, I was like, good.
Oh my God.
That's what I wanted. So I definitely still had to kind of, maneuver through kind of hearing, oh, it doesn't look like what you used to do. Oh, it's not, the typical traditional session. And it wasn't even just my mom saying that. Like it was other people saying that too. I was like, good. Like, that's great. Like, I'm glad. You. So you really have to just take that as a compliment. Like, I've never seen that before. Awesome.
That's better than just just saying, oh yeah, just like that one photographer. It's better to feel like you did something that's more your style instead of conforming to society.
Yep.
Okay, so let's say that your entire life has been captured through a reel or photos, and you're able to watch it from the beginning and all the way to the end. Like you can actually see the result of everything you've done. What kind of creative person would you want to see? And name one thing that would help you get to that person faster, or help you become that person faster.
Like, who do I see myself becoming?
Yeah, so like what kind of creative person would you want to see at the end? And name one thing that will help you get there faster to becoming that person.
I think the one thing that, like, the impact that I kind of want to make is just creating a positive environment for people, like other people that I work with, or just clients in general. I want that reputation of, making sure that I'm not, like you said, conforming to society, and I'm being my own person. I'm not, being kind of limited to what other people are doing, I guess. And it's really hard, having the confidence to say, like, nobody else is doing what I'm doing. And it's really hard because you don't really have anything to work off of. Like, you don't really you have some inspiration. And, I get my inspiration from a lot of photographers that also do video. So they're kind of doing the same thing. And I think just making sure that I don't get caught up in the wrong mindset, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So like, I just got to keep a positive mindset. I got to keep a confident mindset, because if I don't, then I'm just going to fall back into like, oh, what if I'm not doing enough? What if I'm, what if I suck? Like, what if, I don't think of enough poses or stuff like that kind of like wraps around your brain. And, it creates this like spiral that you're just like, you're not enough, or your business will never grow. So I think as long as you keep it positive, then you'll just have that favor come in, I guess you could say. And I think that's what's kind of kept me going, is no matter how hard it gets, and no matter how many times I feel like I'm a failure, no matter how many times I feel like I'm never going to be somebody, I'm not really doing it to be famous. I'm not really doing it for anyone but myself, just to continue to do what I'm doing and be unapologetically myself. So I think that's a lot, like, that was a good lesson for me to learn, and what I would want other people to know too. So
actually, I have one question.
Sure.
So, as you know, I'm not religious, but I respect those that do have. With photography, how do you translate your belief in God, and how do you translate that strong belief into your work?
So the one thing that comes to mind is I'm talking to people all day long. I'm, trying to be, like in the Bible, it talks about being Christ-like. You try and act kind of like how Jesus did. You minister to people, you are kind to people, you believe in what the word says. So I'm trying to be a light in people's life, because, sometimes people don't really have good experiences with people in the service industry. So I think that when I combine the gift that God has given me to capture moments in time for people, and to be able to talk to people, it's not like I'm trying to convert anyone, but I feel like if I talk to them and I'm like, hey, I've seen this, and this on your page, like how is that kind of relating to, your personal beliefs or whatever. And I try and, personalize my conversations with them and try and talk to them. And I really think it's important to give all of my thanks to God for giving me this talent. I do think that it came from the Lord. I think that I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for, asking for favor, praying for favor, to be able to have these experiences. If you want to get into kind of like when I quit Pounders, I felt like I had multiple dreams and and I think dreams are from God. So I had multiple dreams and multiple like visions of me quitting Pounders. And I felt like,
that's rude, computer. I knew you're not religious, but hey.
I felt like that was, something that I needed to do, that God was calling me to pursue photography rather than, just continue this kind of like, I hate to use the word dreadful, but it was just like dreadful, like just a constant, like every single day was the same. And I felt like I needed something different that was going to challenge me every single day to put myself out there.
And photography was that
that for me. So I felt like once I did that and I trusted that God had me in his hands, that I wasn't going to fail, that if I put all my trust in him, then I will succeed. So I just had to trust that me quitting Pounders and not really knowing where my photography was going to go, that it was all going to be okay. And so that's when it kind of took off, is when I did that.
That story reminds me of the boat story when the weather was stormy, and I think his disciples were starting to lose faith. I think it was David, if I'm correct. I don't know. He's out in the ocean and he was in disbelief, but the lesson that specific story was you have to believe or take faith, something like that.
Sure.
So with that being said, I think I could see that with your stories. Like you took a leap of faith, not knowing how everything's gonna work out, but you believed, you had one thing that kept you going, which was your belief in God, and knowing that he's going to lead you on the right path.
Right.
And so, one thing I find I just realized just now was one thing that you're doing that's beautiful, what Captured by Kayden, and the fact that you love documenting life, the people. What you're doing is you're capturing people in God's likeness.
Thank you.
And that's a beautiful thing, and you shouldn't stop doing that.
I don't think I will. And I think even if it doesn't, go any further than this, and I'm just doing this for the rest of my life, and, God's called me to do this, I'll be okay with that. I feel like I'm still glorifying him in every way that I can, and I'm going to continue to do that no matter what. Like I take pictures for my church that I go to. So I try and do as much as I can, using my gifts to, capture people. The best thing ever is capturing people while they worship. That's like my most favorite thing to do at church, is just capturing them in their like real raw like moment of them like worshiping the Lord. And I think that's so awesome. And I don't think I'll ever stop doing that either. I think capturing like a senior session, I could minister to her and, or him, and, talk to them about God, because, sometimes I just feel like the Holy Spirit might tell me like, hey, like you should go out of your comfort zone, and you should tell them like, hey, God loves you, like something like that, where it's like something small, like, hey, God sees you. Yeah. Like you are not forgotten. You are loved. Like they don't, like some of these high schoolers, they don't hear that at home. So I feel like I could definitely use this to my advantage of talking to them like kind of like the older sister. Yeah. And I think that's what really I have to keep in mind. Like I don't want to overstep, but I think that I was given this opportunity to spread the word and, be as positive and be a light in people's lives as much as I can.
You're capturing the best of people in God's images while getting the raw images. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So don't stop doing that.
Thank you.
Where can people find you on social media?
People can find me at Captured by Kayden on Instagram. That's my main form of posting in social media. I have a Facebook, but it's just my normal at Kayden Powell. So.
Okay. You have a website?
I do. www.capturedbykayden.com.
Do you have any last words?
If you're going to start your business and if you're going to try something new, just do it. Because even if you like, there's no point in not trying. So if you just try and try again, people are going to tell you no. People are going to tell you you're stupid. People are going to tell you that it'll never work. Like my college success professor, she told me I'll never be successful and make money with photography. Oh. So yeah, you will have those people, and you just have to remember that those people, their opinion doesn't matter. So
you also have one Bible verse that applies to is there a Bible verse that you know in mind that talks about
I don't have it.
not giving up?
So I actually just sent this to my friend. She was having trouble with something else with school or something, and she was having trouble. So it's Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. So I think no matter what happens, no matter what season of life you're in, you know, God will always have you in his right hand, and you'll always be looked over and watched out for. So you have nothing to worry about. So that's all.
The big man above got you back, homies.
Thanks for bringing that up, by the way. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Your respect. I appreciate that.
Huh?
It's respectful. I appreciate it.
Of course. Of course. And all right, guys. That is it for this episode. If you want to see more, you can always follow us on Instagram, hit and record. And I'll just put out the title here, okay? I'm tired of talking stuff. So, title here. You can follow us here. This is Instagram. This website. I don't think I have a website. Podcast, whatever. It's right here. Thank you so much for being on this episode, Kayden.
You're
and we hope to
welcome.
see you on the next coming one.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope I'm invited.
Huh?
I hope I'm invited. Well, thank you for having me. It was very fun.
Of course. And cut.